we don't need to do that. All right, one sec. Cool. I think we're live on Instagram. And if I can get one of my teammates here to just check if we're live. All right. I am going to just load everything up here. Looks like we're live on YouTube. I got notification there. And
awesome.
Sorry, guys. I'm just going to double check that we're live everywhere here. Still looks like Facebook, we're not live, which is a bummer because if we're not live now, we're probably not going to be live. All right. I'm not sure what's going on with Facebook, so it doesn't want to cooperate, but it is what it is. We're going to get started here nonetheless. Man, I can never get Facebook to work. One more second here. I'm just going to double check one little thing.
We got Instagram now, right?
We're on Instagram, yep. And it looks like we've got Duda here who's joining us live.
Awesome.
All right, well, I will just let them. We're not on Facebook. Can you let them know? I'm not sure why. All right, cool. We're going to get started here. We are doing our April 2022 update roundup. We're doing this live on Instagram, Facebook. Well, I don't know if Facebook's a fail or not, and YouTube. So I know a lot of you guys have been hopping on to Instagram recently, and I know like land is blowing up with real estate in general is blowing up on TikTok too. So give us a follow, REI Conversion on both TikTok and Instagram. If you want to follow us there, we will sort of live stream this. And we're going to get started here. Let's go on forward here. So it's April 2022 update roundup. First of all, as usual, thank you very much for all the support, feedback, questions, and all of that good stuff, because it really, really helps both Kevin and I and the team here understand where we need to go, things that we need to better understand and better learn. There are things that we are constantly learning. So thank you very much for all of you guys. So we're going to get started right away with what we have been working on and what has been launched. One of the big ones. Am I sharing my screen? No, it's not even sharing my screen. Okay, hold on here. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. So we've been working on a ton of bug fixes. When we pushed out a pretty major feature launch beginning last month or the beginning of this month.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, which was really tackling a lot of different things, including mailers with multiple properties for one seller. We, revamped the way we handled our mailer codes. There was just a lot. So we've been sort of working through that this past month. So thank you very much for all your patience, guys. Next thing, we have now a contacts directory. Kevin, do we need to show that, or
sure?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can show that.
Cool.
So I'm here in Pebble. This is a pretty basic feature, but something that people were asking about, and just a way to view all of your contacts. So if you go to your settings page and then you go to contacts, this isn't there yet, but it will be shortly. We now have a contacts page, so you can quickly search for a contact by their name or their email or their phone, and then easily bring them up, see which properties they are linked to,
Yep.
And then change their contact details. So easy, pretty basic change there, but something that we wanted to support.
Yes. Awesome. Cool. All right. Next thing, we introduced Property Radar. So a lot of people are using something like Property Radar to get their data. So now is an easy import of those of that data list that you're pulling for your property. In Pebble, we're sort of agnostic to where you get your data from. So One of the steps when you're creating your mailing campaign is matching up the column headers to what we call our property fields. And with this pre-mapped property radar, that means you don't. We know the mapping of property radar, so we know all the column orders. So once you sort of bring that in and hit a drop down that selects property radar, it actually does all the mapping for you. I totally butchered the explanation of this, but anyways, it's just a lot easier now to bring in property radar data. If you are a property radar user. And if you want to learn more about property radar, if you head over to our resources and under recommended tools, you'll see it there. It's also on our YouTube channel. We got a chance to interview the founder over at Property Radar to talk to us about how they're sort of handling data and what they're doing there. All right.
And one more thing before we hop off that slide. I don't think we mentioned it, but you can now you can now import email and phone numbers right from your lists. So Property Radar will give you email and phone numbers to your to the list that you're importing. And if you're using another list provider that gives you email and phone number, you can now import that straight in with your properties, and we'll go ahead and populate that on your mailers. And then when leads come in, you'll already have their email and phone number set up.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, cool. Let's go on to the next screen here. One of the more popular ones that has been requested is the do not mail functionality, where you can literally not blacklist, but mark them as do not mail. And I'm going to get Kevin to share your screen here of how that actually works.
Yep. So in any contact record, whether you're viewing it from your contacts list, or if you're looking at a property and you go and edit that contact, we now have a toggle here, do not mail. So as soon as you select that, that contact will get a do not mail badge here. And anytime you import a list in the future, as if that list matches the address and name of one of your do not mail contacts, they will not get mailed. So just ensures that when you get those angry phone calls of people saying, take me off your list, you can now quickly go in here and toggle that, and then know that you'll never email that person again, or never send that person any mail again.
Yeah. So hopefully this ultimately saves you some angry mail, saves you some, saves you money in general to have to mail it to these people who simply don't want to work with you. So Awesome. All right. Let's keep going here. All right, so the next one is, this was actually launched earlier, but we never really got to talk about this much. Ranged offer. Ranged offer is now built into Pebble. So you have the opportunity now to bring in not only just an offer, but a ranged offer. If you had a lower limit range and an upper limit range, and you want to send them a mailer saying, hey, I want to pay, $500 to $1,000, you can now do that. When you're bringing in your data, you simply map out those two columns. Pebble will see that, and you don't really actually need to do much on your mailer. As long as you have an offer price on your template, on your mailer, it will fill in with that sort of range that you've brought in. So it's a really, really easy process now. What's even cooler is, because we do multi-properties for one seller, we can even total that range. So let's say you had, Janet, who showed up on that list 3 times when you've got 3 different ranges. We're going to make this hugely incentivizing by just totaling all those ranges for you. Pebble is smart enough to do that, and it will actually give them a single pair range for those 3 properties. And that'll she may not want to sell you all 3 properties, but at least it'll more likely open up the door for conversation here, just because, again, you're talking about her entire portfolio. So that is now built, and that is available already today. Okay. All right, let's talk a little bit about the better campaign stats. I'm going to move over screens here again to Kevin.
Mhm. So this also will be going out here in the next couple days. So you'll notice this next week when you open up your Pebble account. We now did a little redesign on our campaign screen to surface some more detailed information. Particularly, we have our response rate for our campaign. So in this case, I've mailed out 490 letters of this campaign, and I had 7 seller leads that came back. So seven sellers were attached to this campaign, and that gives me a response rate of 1.4%. So one thing that we've heard a lot of in previous iterations of this was that it was a little confusing how this response rate was calculated. And we were sort of doing some behind the scenes things, and it was a little hard to know when a seller lead was tied to a campaign. So we've gone ahead and really revamped that to make it crystal clear how a seller is tied to a campaign. So if you go into any seller, we now have a campaign here. So when a seller lead comes in, if you enter their mailer code, they'll automatically get that campaign tied to them. But if you're manually adding your own seller leads, you can just go in here and select that campaign that you want them to be tied to. So in this case, I'll just tie them to this campaign. And now my, I need to fix that a little bit. But yeah, so now that campaign will be correctly set for that seller. And then when you go view the response rate, you'll know exactly what that response rate is. So it just sort of makes things a little bit more clear about how we're calculating your response rates.
Yep. Cool. All right. Let's go to the next one here. Mailer codes to export. So now when you're exporting, your campaigns, if you wanted to run the mailer through a different printing house and print and mail house, it now includes mailer codes. We've actually moved away from what we call our property codes. Properties now get uniquely identified by the APN, but the mailer codes is what's important for that acquisition side of things. So you're going to be able to export that now when you're exporting your campaign. Actually, you can actually export the campaigns. And for those of you guys that are doing, we've made this a lot easier. If you go into campaigns, you can actually directly export from the campaign screen. You don't have to go into the properties and do the filtering. You can actually export here directly. Okay. All right. And lastly, we've launched our announcement beacon. You can't see it right now, but usually on the bottom right of the screen, you're going to see any new announcements on there. This is really great for us engaging with our users, with you guys. We're seeing like a huge uptake in people attending things now, which is really cool. So from time to time, you're going to see an announcement. So we made an announcement recently about the update roundup. You can add it to your calendar. You can subscribe to us on YouTube or Facebook to see this live. Every time we sort of feel we have more of a major announcement, you're going to see that shown within the app. And definitely look out for that. I think a lot of people weren't used to that, kind of overlooked it. So do look out for that as well. So I'm really excited to be using that to just another way for us to be able to communicate with you guys. All right.
And one thing that I do want to bring up that's a bit of a new thing that we're basically just enhancing the way that we're doing this, but that's on our seller leads now. So what we launched a couple weeks ago was being able to attach contacts directly to your seller leads.
Yes.
And we've gone ahead and enhanced that based on some feedback that we've gotten. And one of those enhancements is quickly being able to look up your mailer codes. So this is like somebody's giving me a call and I'm on the phone with them, and they're going to ask me for a mailer code. Or I'm going to ask them for a mailer code. So let's say they say, okay, it's 3-099. This Brenda is calling me. So Brenda is calling, and I sent her a mailer that was attached to these 4 properties here. So I can quickly just select her from my list, give it a stage. In this case, I'll just put it in the first stage. And then as soon as I click save, basically this is going to go in and attach all those records. So it's going to put the contact on that seller lead. It's going to tie them to the campaign. It's going to bring in those 4 properties, which I can then go start doing my due diligence on. And then I can start taking it from there. I can ask Brenda what her phone number is, get any information there. And so that we're just trying to streamline things as much as possible. So you just ask for that mailer code, go to the seller, create a lead, and you're off to the races. So that's sort of the streamlining we've been doing there.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we come into the last part of this update roundup, which is what are we working on next? So I want to give you guys a bit of an update on the envelopes. I know we've spoken about this before. This is something that has been requested a lot. So we have 2 new envelopes coming. There's a bit of a delay on the how do I phrase it, Kevin, on the API side of things to connect over with Postcard Mania to handle this. But they're working on it. They've given us a date. We're hoping to have something out by the end of this month. I hope I didn't speak too early here, but we're looking to introduce 2 new envelopes. That's the full window envelope. I'm personally really excited about this. You're going to be able to print things like a full map on there, and they can see it right away once they don't even need to open it. They can see their property right there. I think things like that is pretty cool. And then we're going to be doing handwritten, no windowed envelopes as well. So that will be also coming out hopefully by the end of this month. So I just want to give you an update. It has been delayed. You heard it, but we're going to try to get this wrapped up as soon as possible.
And we might, it sounds like we're going to start with the full windowed envelope,
right?
And then move on, hopefully in the near future, get those printed envelopes as well.
Yeah. All right. The next one here, this has been requested and quite a bit, multiple contacts per seller lead. And where is that going to belong? I'm going to just show your screen here. Kevin, do you want to show where that would, and what's the application for that?
Yeah, so sometimes you'll get a seller who comes in and they'll say, well, I actually own this with my 3 brothers. And so you want to be able to record that information down. So right now, a contact is you can only have 1 per seller lead, but we are now going to additional contact records. So you can add those 3 brothers. You can even assign contacts that might be other people. So like a realtor, or maybe you've got somebody on the ground who does due diligence for you. You can add them as a contact, that seller lead, so you get a very clear picture of who's working on this property or this group of properties. So multiple contacts per seller. That'll also apply to buyers as well. Typically, you're only going to have 1 contact on the buy side, but it's helpful to have additional contacts if necessary. So that's coming up shortly.
All right. You probably heard us speak about this before. We are working on a bunch of redesigning stuff, but within the app, we're going to be redesigning that property page. We've got an amazing new team member here helping us with on the design side of things. So we're super excited to be focusing on that. We don't really have anything to show right now, but that is something that we're actively working on. We're sort of also looking at opportunities to streamline certain things, make things a little bit easier for you guys to navigate and use the app itself. All right. Well, that really brings us to the end of this. We typically leave this open for questions and answers. It doesn't look like we have too much activity right now. Jesse, thank you very much. My heroes. Good to see you around, Jesse, for hanging out here. Thank you. If you guys have any other questions, feel free. we follow up on these videos. Go and write your questions on the YouTube comments inside of our Slack channel if you're part of our user base. On Facebook, wherever it is that you're seeing this, go ahead and write your questions. We will answer those. We're live, both Kevin and I, once a month, the first Thursday of every month, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. So do join us. Other than that, yeah, thanks very much for coming out here, guys. Kevin, thank you for your time as well.
Yeah, thank you. We're excited. These new features that are coming down the pike are going to be really exciting. We've been doing a lot of sort of back end work to open up some really great opportunities. So stay tuned for the next couple months of updates. We will have some really cool stuff coming shortly.
Awesome. All right. Thanks very much, guys, for joining us this month for the update roundup. And we'll see you guys around on any of our other live sessions. We'll talk to you guys then. Cheers.
Bye.